Breaking: Lungu Standoff solution revealed. Brenda Nyirenda's urgent message to government. A political standoff that has gripped Zambia for months may finally have a solution. But there's a catch. The government must act now. Brenda Nyirenda just dropped a bombshell statement that could change everything. She's calling for direct engagement with one man who holds the key to resolving the Lungu crisis. Given Lubinda. In the next 10 minutes, I'll break down exactly what she said, why Lubinda is the crucial figure, and what this means for Zambia's political future. Stay with me because what happens next could reshape the nation's political landscape. Good day, viewers. Welcome to another edition of InspirAfrica Official. I'm Nakash. It's been quite an intense week here in Zambia, and today, we have a story that touches the very soul of this nation. A story about dignity, about leadership, and about what happens when politics holds a nation's grief hostage. 5 months. 5 long months since a former head of state passed away. 5 months since a man who once stood at the helm of this country took his last breath. And yet, his body remains unburied. Can you imagine that? A former Republican president, lying in state for 5 months, while politicians point fingers and the nation watches in disbelief. What does it say about us as a country when we cannot even grant a former leader the basic dignity of burial? What dark calculations are being made behind closed doors? Who benefits from this macabre standoff? And perhaps most chilling of all, what kind of precedent does this set for the future of Zambia's political class? Is this about respect for the dead? Or is it about something far more sinister? A political chess game where a man's body has become a pawn? When did we become a nation that weaponizes grief? When did we lose sight of our humanity? Today, a voice has emerged from within the opposition. A woman who says she has the solution. Brenda Nyirenda, acting Deputy Secretary General of the Patriotic Front, has issued an urgent plea to government. She says she knows how to end this nightmare. She says her party is ready to help. But can they be trusted? Or is this just another move in an endless power struggle? The question that haunts us all: how long will Edgar Lungu remain unburied? The revelation came to light yesterday in Lusaka, when Brenda Nyirenda, Lundatsi Member of Parliament and acting Deputy Secretary General of the Patriotic Front's Lubinda faction, addressed journalists at a press briefing. This follows 5 months of unprecedented delay since the death of former President Edgar Lungu. The late president, who served as Zambia's 6th Republican president from 2015 to 2021, passed away earlier this year. Under normal circumstances, a state funeral would have been arranged within days. But these are not normal circumstances. The standoff began almost immediately after Lungu's death. Questions arose about who would organize the burial. The Patriotic Front insisted that the sitting government, led by President Hakainde Hichilema and the United Party for National Development, bears constitutional responsibility for arranging a former president's funeral. The UPND, however, has remained largely silent on the matter, neither confirming nor denying responsibility. Meanwhile, the Patriotic Front itself has been fractured into competing factions. There's the Given Lubinda faction, which Nyirenda represents. There's also the Robert Shabinga faction, which claims legal authority over the party. Internal PF disputes have added another layer of complexity to an already explosive situation. By September, the deadlock had become a national embarrassment. By October, it had become a political weapon. Each side accused the other of playing politics with a dead man's body. Then, on November 2, 2025, the PF Central Committee under the Lubinda faction held a crucial meeting. During that meeting, party leaders made 2 significant decisions. First, to proceed with opening nominations for presidential hopefuls ahead of their November convention. And second, to extend an olive branch to government on the Lungu burial issue. The following day, November 3rd, Nyirenda made her public appeal. And yesterday, November 4th, she doubled down on her message. Standing before journalists, Brenda Nyirenda delivered her message with a mixture of frustration and hope. Her words carry the weight of 5 months of grief, anger, and political calculation. If government can engage Lubinda, we are ready to help them handle the Lungu issue, she stated clearly, her voice steady despite the emotion beneath. Losing a father figure like President Lungu has been hard for us, and not laying him to rest until now makes it even more painful. She didn't mince words about where she believes responsibility lies. "It's everyone's wish to see our father laid to rest," Nyirenda said. "We can't allow his legacy to go down like this. He died fighting for this party and for this country. He deserves a dignified burial." The acting Secretary General accused the government of what she called bureaucratic stonewalling. "It's shameful and undignified that the former head of state, who once led the nation, has not yet been laid to rest." Then came her accusation, direct and cutting. Government is using bureaucracy and internal excuses as a political escape route. But alongside the criticism came something unexpected, an offer. Nyirenda made it clear that her party faction is willing to work with government to break the impasse. "We are ready to stand in the gap and ensure our father is buried in peace," she declared. "If it takes an election for that to happen, so be it. But our wish is to bury him as soon as yesterday." She specifically urged government to engage with Given Lubinda, the acting president of her PF faction. The PF is willing to cooperate if it means bringing closure to what she described as a national embarrassment that has dragged on for too long. Nyirenda also made a commitment that surprised some observers. She announced that despite the emotional toll of the unresolved burial, her faction would not use it as an excuse to delay internal party reorganization. "The unresolved burial has caused us pain, but it won't stop us from moving forward. We will not use this tragedy as a scapegoat for failing to organize or elect our new president." Her final appeal was for compassion over politics. "This matter needs empathy, not politics. It's time to do what's right and allow the former president to be laid to rest with the dignity he deserves." This development reveals several layers of complexity in Zambian politics right now. First, there's the question of constitutional responsibility. The Patriotic Front maintains that organizing a state funeral for a former president is the duty of the sitting government. Historically, this has been the case in Zambia and across Africa. When a former head of state dies, the current administration typically coordinates funeral arrangements as a matter of protocol and national respect. However, the UPND government has remained conspicuously quiet on this issue. Some analysts suggest this silence is strategic, a way of avoiding accusations of controlling or manipulating the funeral arrangements of a political rival. Others see it as cold political calculation, allowing the PF to remain in organizational limbo while national attention focuses on internal party chaos rather than governance issues. Second, there's the internal PF power struggle. The party has been fractured since Lungu left office in 2021. Multiple factions claim legitimate authority. The Given Lubinda faction, which Nyirenda represents, positions itself as the continuation of Lungu's legacy. But there are competing claims from other groups, including the Robert Shabinga faction, which has legal recognition in some contexts. Nyirenda's offer to cooperate with government could be seen as politically savvy. By positioning her faction as the problem solvers, the ones willing to work with government for the greater good, she potentially strengthens Lubinda's claim to legitimate PF leadership. If government engages with Lubinda, it implicitly recognizes his authority within the party. Third, there's a humanitarian dimension that transcends politics. For 5 months, a family has been unable to bury their loved one. Party members have been unable to find closure. The nation has watched a surreal spectacle unfold. Whatever the political calculations, real human beings are suffering. Political analyst and commentator Alice R. Ndomu noted the broader implications. The current opposition landscape shows deep organizational weaknesses. While the UPND government faces criticism over power outages and economic challenges, opposition parties remain fragmented and unable to capitalize on public frustration. The PF's internal divisions have become a cautionary tale. As one observer noted in commentary, without structures, discipline, and a coherent economic alternative, they are competing with a man who already solved the puzzle they are trying to read. That man, President Hichilema, spent 15 years in opposition building the organizational infrastructure that ultimately brought him to power. There's also the question of precedent. If a former president can remain unburied for 5 months due to political squabbles, what message does that send about how Zambia treats its leaders? What happens when the next former president passes away? Some legal experts suggest that this situation exposes gaps in Zambia's protocols around state funerals. There may need to be clearer constitutional or statutory provisions spelling out exactly who bears responsibility, what timelines apply, and how disputes should be resolved. Meanwhile, the PF's decision to proceed with internal reorganization, including opening nominations for a new party president, adds another dimension. Nyirenda announced that nominations opened on November 3rd, with fees set at K200, 000 for men, K100, 000 for women, and K100, 000 for youth candidates. The party plans to hold its general conference before the end of November. This suggests that the Lubinda faction is trying to move forward on two tracks simultaneously, resolving the Lungu burial issue while also preparing for the 2026 elections. But questions remain. Will government actually engage with Lubinda? Or will this offer go unanswered, leaving the standoff to continue? And if engagement does happen, what form will it take? Will there be negotiations over funeral arrangements? Over who controls the PF legacy? Over political alliances going into 2026? The UPND has not publicly responded to Nyirenda's call for dialogue. The silence is deafening. So there you have it, viewers. 5 months after his death, Edgar Lungu remains unburied. But today, we've heard a voice calling for resolution. Brenda Nyirenda has extended an olive branch to government, urging engagement with Given Lubinda to break the deadlock. Will this plea be answered? Or will politics continue to hold grief hostage? Thank you so much for watching today's edition of InspirAfrica Official. I really appreciate each and every one of you taking the time to stay informed about what's happening in our nation and across the continent. This is a story that affects all of us, not just as PF members or UPND supporters, but as Zambians, as human beings who believe in dignity, respect, and the basic decency of allowing people to bury their dead. What do you think about this situation? Should government engage with the Lubinda faction? Who do you think bears responsibility for resolving this standoff? And what does this say about where Zambian politics is headed as we approach 2026? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's have a respectful conversation about this. Whether you support PF, UPND, or any other party, I want to hear your perspective. If this video provided you with valuable information, please hit that like button and share it with others who need to know what's happening. And of course, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss our coverage of important stories from across Africa. I'll be back tomorrow with more news, more analysis, and more conversations that matter. Until then, stay informed, stay engaged, and let's keep holding our leaders accountable. This is Nakash, signing off from InspirAfrica Official.